Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Before we read Srimad Bhagavatam, let's invoke the blessing of the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhayeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ishvara Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha सर्व कारण कारणम. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तविंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So dear devotees, we have been reading from Canto 1, chapter 5, and today's verse is verse 15. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. शिला प्रभुपाद की जय. शिला व्यासदेव की जय. जुगुप्सितं धर्मकृते अनुशस्ताः स्वभावारक्तस्य महान् व्यातिक्रमः यद् वाक्यतो धर्म इति तरास्थितो न मन्यते तस्य निवारणं जनः. जुगुप्सितं, verily condemned. Dharmakrite, for the matter of religion. Anusastaha, instruction. Swabhava raktasya, naturally inclined. Mahan, great. Vyati karmaha, unreasonable. Yat vakyataha, under whose instruction. Dharmaha, religion. Iti, it is thus. Itraha, the people in general. Sthitaha, fixed. Na, do not. Manyate, think. Tasya, of that. Nivaranam, prohibition. Janaha, they. Translation. The people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable, because they are guided under your instructions. They will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. Purport. Srila Vyasadev's compilation of different Vedic literatures on the basis of regulated performances of fruitive activities, as depicted in the Mahabharata and other literature, is condemned herewith by Srila Narada. The human beings, by long material association, life after life, have a natural inclination by practice to endeavor to lord it over material energy. They have no sense of the responsibility of human life. This human form of life is a chance to get out of the clutches of illusionary matter. The Vedas are meant for going back to Godhead, going back home. To revolve in the cycle of transmigration in a series of lives numbering 8.4 million is an imprisoned life for the condemned conditioned souls. The human form of life is a chance to get out of this imprisoned life and as such the only occupation of the human being to re-establish his lost relationship with God. Under the circumstances, one should never be encouraged in making a plan for sense enjoyment in the name of religious functions. Such diversions of human energy results in misguided civilization. Srila Vyasadeva is the authority in Vedic explanations in the Mahabharata, and his encouragement in sense enjoyment in some form or other is a great barrier for spiritual advancement because the people in general will not agree to renounce material activities which hold them in material bondage. At a certain stage of human civilization, such material activities in the name of religion, as sacrificing animals in the name of yagna, were too much rampant. The Lord incarnated himself as Buddha and decried the authority of Vedas in order to stop animal sacrifice in the name of religion. This was foreseen by Narada, and therefore he condemned such literatures. The flesh eaters still continue to perform animal sacrifice before some good demigod or goddess in the name of religion, because in some of the Vedic literatures, such regulated sacrifices are recommended. They are so recommended to discourage flesh eating. But gradually, the purpose of such religious activities is forgotten, and the slaughterhouse becomes prominent. This is because foolish materialistic men do not care to listen to others who are actually in a position to explain the Vedic rites. In Vedas, it is distinctly said that the perfection of life is never to be attained either by voluminous work or by accumulation of wealth or even by increasing the population, but it is so attained only by renunciation. The materialistic man do not care to listen to such injunctions. According to them, the so-called renounced order of life is meant for those who are unable to earn their livelihood because of some corporeal defects or persons who have failed to achieve the prosperity in family life. In histories like Mahabharata, of course, there are topics on transcendental subjects along with material topics. The Bhagavad Gita is there in the Mahabharata. The whole idea of Mahabharata culminates in the ultimate instructions of the Bhagavad Gita that one should relinquish all other engagements and should engage oneself solely on and fully in surrendering unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. But men with materialistic tendencies are more attracted to the politics, economics, and philanthropic activities mentioned in the Mahabharata than to the principal topic, namely the Bhagavad Gita. This compromising spirit of Vyasadeva is directly condemned by Narada, who advises him to directly proclaim that the prime necessity of human life is to realize one's eternal relation with the Lord and thus surrender to Him without delay. A patient suffering from a particular type of malady is almost always inclined to accept eatables which are forbidden for him. The expert physician does not make any compromise with the patient by allowing him to take partially what he should not at all take. In Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that A man attached to fruitive work should not be discouraged from his occupation, for gradually he may be elevated to the position of self realization. This is sometimes applicable for those who are only dry empiric philosophers without spiritual realization. But those who are in devotional line need not to be need not be always so advised. Next, 16. विचिक्षणो अस्यार्थी वेदितं विभुर् अनन्तपराश्य निवृत्ता सुखम् प्रवर्तमानस्य गुणर अनात्मनस् ततो भावान् दर्शया से स्थितं विभुः विचिक्षणः very expert asya of him arhati deserves veditum to understand vibhoho of the Lord ananta parashya of the unlimited nivrittitaha retired from sukham material happiness pravartamanasya those who are attached to gunahi by material qualities anatmanaha devoid of knowledge in spiritual value tataha therefore bhavan your goodness darsaya show the ways chestitam activities vibhoho of the Lord. Translation: the Supreme Lord is unlimited. Only a very expert personality, retired from the activities of material happiness, deserves to understand this knowledge of spiritual values. Therefore, those who are not so well situated due to material attachment should be shown the ways of transcendental realization. By your goodness, through description of the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. Purport: theological science is a difficult subject, especially when it deals with the transcendental nature of God. It is not a subject matter to be understood by persons who are too much attached to material activities. Only the very expert who have almost retired from materialistic activities by the culture of spiritual knowledge can be admitted to the study of this great science. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that out of many hundreds and thousands of men, only one person deserves to enter into transcendental realization. And out of many thousands of such transcendentally realized persons, only a few can understand the theological science, specifically dealing with God as a person. Srila Vyasadeva is therefore advised by Narada to describe the science of God directly by relating his transcendental activities. Vyasadeva is himself a personality expert in this science, and he is unattached to material enjoyment. Therefore, he is the right person to describe it. And Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, is the right person to receive it. Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost theological science, and therefore it can react on the layman as medicinal doses because it contains the transcendental activities of the Lord. There is no difference between the Lord and the literature. The literature is the factual literary incarnation of the Lord. So the layman can hear the narration of the activities of the Lord. Thereby, they are able to associate with the Lord and thus gradually becomes purified from material diseases. The expert devotees also can discover novel ways and means to convert the non devotees in terms of particular time and circumstance. Devotional service is dynamic activity, and the expert devotees can find out competent means to inject it into the dull brains of the materialistic population. Such transcendental activities of the devotees for the service of the Lord can bring a new order of life to the foolish society of materialistic man. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his subsequent followers exhibited expert dexterity in this connection. By following the same method, one can bring the materialistic man of this age of quarrel into order for peaceful life and transcendental realization. Next, number 17. त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं चरणाम्बुजं हरेर् भजन्नपक्वोऽथापतेत् ततो यदि हि यत्र क्वा वभाद्रम् अबुद् अमुष्य किं को वार्था आप्तो अभजतां स्वधर्मतः त्यक्त्वा having forsaken swadharmam one's own occupational engagement charna ambujam the lotus feet harehe of Hari the Lord bhajan in the course of devotional service apakvaha immature athaha for the matter of patet falls down tataha from that place yadi if yatra whereupon qua what sort of va or used sarcastically abhadram unfavorable abhut shall happen amusya of him kim nothing kahava artha what interest apataha obtained abhajatam of the non-devotees swadharmataha being engaged in occupational service. Translation: one who has forsaken his material occupation to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of this being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non devotee, though fully engaged in the occupational duties, does not gain anything. Purport: as far as duties of mankind are concerned, there are innumerable duties. Every man is duty bound, not only to his parents, family members, society, country, humanity, other living beings, the demigods, etc., but also to the great philosophers, poets, scientists, etc. It is enjoined in the scripture that one can relinquish all such duties and surrender unto the service of the Lord. So, if one does so and becomes successful in the discharge of his devotional service unto the Lord, it is well and good. But it so happens sometimes that one surrender himself unto the service of the Lord by some temporary sentiment. And in the long run, due to so many other reasons, he falls down from the path of service by undesirable association. There are so many instances of this in the histories. Bharat Maharaj was obliged to take his birth as a stag due to his intimate attachment to a stag. He thought of this stag when he died. As such, in the next birth, he becomes a stag. Although he did not forget the incidents of his previous birth. Similarly, Chitraketu also fell down due to his offense at the feet of Shiva. But in spite of all this, the stress is given here to surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord, even if there is a chance of falling down. Because even though one falls down from the prescribed duties of devotional service, he will never forget the lotus feet of the Lord. Once engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, one will continue the service in all circumstances. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that even a small quantity of devotional service can save one from the most dangerous position. There are many instances of such examples in history. Ajamila is one of them. Ajamila, in his early life, was a devotee, but in his youth he fell down. Still, he was saved by the Lord at the end. So we'll stop here in the interest of time and we'll do number 18 tomorrow. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, शिला व्यासदेव की जय. So anybody has any question, correction, chastisement, realization before we continue chanting? All right. So if there is no question, we'll stop here. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Anant Koti Vaishnavind ki jai. Thank you, dear devotees, for listening to me, and please forgive me if I have not recited Bhagavatam properly. Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.